Growing up, most of us dreamed of being royalty and having unlimited riches. Well, the Prince of Morocco is living out that fantasy in the most extravagant way possible. But behind the glitz and glamour, there's a surprising reality about his life that will make you see him in a whole new light. Prince Moulay Hassan is only 19 years old, but he's probably the richest teenager in the world. His dad, King Mohammed VI, is worth a cool $2.6 billion. So you know Moulay Hassan is living large. We're talking 12 insane palaces, private jets with missile defense systems, and renting yachts that cost over $500,000 per week just for a family getaway. This kid's life is straight out of a movie. But it ain't all fun and games. He's got a lot on his plate for someone so young. Moulay Hassan is fluent in 4 languages, holds military ranks, and represents Morocco all over the world. He's under the microscope 24/7, so yeah, unlimited cash is nice. But with great wealth comes some pretty heavy responsibilities, especially when you're the future king, royal background and education. But let's rewind for a sec and talk about where this kid came from. Prince Moulay Hassan was born into straight-up royalty back in 2003. His dad is King Mohammed VI, and his mom is Princess Lala Salma. Oh, and get this, he's named after his grandpa, the late King Hassan II. So yeah, he's got that royal blood pumping through his veins. Growing up, Moulay Hassan was all about that elite education. He started out at the Royal College for both his primary and secondary schooling, and let me tell you, this prince is no dummy. He's fluent in not 1, not 2, but 4 languages. Arabic, French, English, and Spanish. Talk about an overachiever. But school wasn't the only thing on his plate. Moulay Hassan has been racking up those honorary military ranks like it's nobody's business. We're talking Colonel of the Royal Guard, Colonel of the Royal Army, and Colonel of the Royal Air Force. This kid's got more titles than most people have pairs of shoes. And don't even get me started on his public appearances. Moulay Hassan has been rubbing elbows with the who's who since he was a little tyke. In 2017, he was the youngest person to attend the One Planet Summit in France. And in 2019, he represented his dad at the launch of some big-time port in Morocco. Oh, and remember when French President Jacques Chirac died? Yep, Moulay Hassan was front and center at that funeral in Paris. He's been shaking hands and kissing babies all over the world, from welcoming Palestinian kids to Morocco to hanging out with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, fleet of exotic cars. Now let's talk about Moulay Hassan's insane car collection. We're talking rides that would make any car enthusiast drool. This kid's got a fleet of luxury whips that would put most billionaires to shame. First up, the prince rolls around in a custom Aston Martin DB7. This bad boy is decked out with all the bells and whistles. We're talking about a V12 engine that purrs like a kitten, hand-stitched leather seats, and a sound system that'll make your ears bleed. And get this, the paint job is a one-of-a-kind shade of royal blue. Because when you're a prince, you gotta stand out from the crowd. But that's not the only fancy ride in his garage. Moulay Hassan's also got a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. This thing is a straight-up speed demon. It goes from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds and has a top speed of over 217 miles per hour. And with a price tag of around $500,000, it ain't no toy car. And let's not forget about his Bugatti Chiron. This hypercar is the definition of luxury. It's got a quad-turbo W16 engine that pumps out a mind-blowing 1,500 horsepower. The interior is draped in the finest leather and carbon fiber, and the price? A cool $3 million. But when you're a trillionaire prince, that's just pocket change. But Moulay Hassan's car collection isn't just about speed and luxury. He's also got a thing for vintage rides, like his 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California Spider. This classic beauty is one of only 51 ever made and is worth a staggering $18 million. It's got a V12 engine and a sleek, timeless design that turns heads wherever it goes. And last but not least, the prince has a soft spot for eco-friendly rides. That's right, he's got a Tesla Model X in his fleet. This all-electric SUV is packed with high-tech features like Falcon wing doors and a bioweapon defense mode. Extravagant yachts. This kid's got a fleet of floating palaces that make your average millionaire's yacht look like a dinghy. First up, there's his custom-built super yacht, the Royal One. This bad boy is over 500 feet long and comes with all the bells and whistles. We're talking multiple decks, a helipad, a swimming pool, and even a mini submarine. And let's not forget about the interior. It's dripping in gold and marble, with enough room to fit a small army of servants. But that ain't the only yacht in the prince's collection. He's also got a sleek modern number called the Silver Fast. This thing is built for speed, with a top speed of over 27 knots. But don't let that fool you. It's still packed with luxury features like a spa, a gym, and a cinema. Because even when you're zipping across the ocean, you gotta do it in style. And when the prince really wants to splash some cash, he rents out the Serenity for his family holidays. This super yacht is a beast, measuring in at over 400 feet long. It's got all the amenities you'd expect, like multiple pools, a jacuzzi, and a beach club. But it also comes with some seriously baller extras, like a dance floor, a sushi bar, and even a hair salon. And the price tag? A cool 550,000 euros, about $596,000 per week. But when you're a trillionaire prince, that's just pocket change. But the prince's yacht collection isn't just about luxury, it's also about performance. Take his racing yacht, the Narlin, for example. This thing is a speed demon, with a carbon fiber hull and state-of-the-art sailing technology. It's won countless races around the world, and the prince is often spotted at the helm, showing off his sailing skills. So yeah, Prince Moulay Hassan's yacht game is no joke. These floating mansions are the ultimate status symbol, and the prince spares no expense when it comes to living the high life on the high seas. Private helicopters and jets. First up, the prince has got his very own Gulfstream G650 jet. This thing is a straight-up flying palace. It's got a price tag of around $65 million, but for a trillionaire like Moulay Hassan, that's just a drop in the bucket. And get this, the jet's even got its own custom license plate. It reads CNAMH, which stands for Altesse Moulay Hassan. That's right, this kid's got his royal title plastered right on the side of his private jet. Talk about a flex. But the G650 ain't just for show. This bad boy can fly non-stop for a whopping 14,000 kilometers. That means the prince could hop from Rabat to New York without even breaking a sweat. And he ain't flying solo either. The jet can fit up to 8 passengers and 4 crew members, so whether he's jetting off to a business meeting or a private island getaway, he's got plenty of room to bring his entourage along for the ride. And when it comes to safety, the prince doesn't mess around. His G650 is decked out with a state-of-the-art missile defense system that cost a cool $20 million. That's right, this jet's got its own freaking force field, so even if some hater tries to take a shot at the prince mid-flight, he'll be protected by the same tech used by the Israeli military. How's that for some high-flying security? But the G650 is not the only bird in the prince's fleet. He's also got a couple of top-of-the-line helicopters at his disposal. There's the sleek and speedy Augusta Westland AW139, which can hit speeds of up to 193 miles per hour. And then there's the more luxurious Airbus H155, which comes complete with leather seats, a mini-bar, and even a bathroom. Because when you're a trillionaire prince, you don't have time for pit stops. So yeah, Prince Moulay Hassan's got some serious wings. His private jets and helicopters are the ultimate status symbols, and they allow him to travel the world in a style that most of us can only dream of. But as impressive as his flying machines are, they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this kid's lavish lifestyle. Lavish mansions. When it comes to cribs, Prince Moulay Hassan ain't playing around. This kid's got more mansions than you've got socks in your drawer. No, really, the Moroccan royal family owns a whopping 12 grand palaces, and the prince himself chills in 4 of them on the regular. First up, there's the Rabat Royal Palace, where the prince was born. This place is straight up fit for a king, or a crown prince in this case. It's not just a kick-ass pad, but also the spot where all the big government decisions go down. So, while Moulay Hassan is lounging in his private quarters, the palace is buzzing with political bigwigs and royal advisors. But the prince's mansion game doesn't stop there. He's got cribs scattered all over Morocco, each one more baller than the last. We're talking sprawling estates with manicured gardens, glittering pools, and enough room to host a small country. And the inside? Forget about it. These places are dripping in gold, crystal, and the finest imported marble. The prince has got a thing for chandeliers too. Some of these bad boys are so big, they'd make the ones in Buckingham Palace look like nightlights. Of course, all this luxury comes at a price. The royal family shells out a small fortune just to keep these mansions looking fresh. We're talking an army of servants, groundskeepers, and security guards, not to mention the utility bills. But when you're sitting on $1 trillion fortune, a few million here and there ain't nothing. But the prince's favorite crib has got to be his beachfront villa in Tangier. This place is like something straight out of a Bond movie. It's got its own private beach, a yacht dock, and views that'll make your jaw drop. And when the prince wants to get away from the hustle and bustle of palace life, he jets off to his mountain retreat in the Atlas Mountains. This place is like a winter wonderland, complete with ski slopes, cozy fireplaces, and enough room to host a small army of snow bunnies. But what's a prince to do with all this space? Throw some epic parties, of course. Moulay Hassan is known for hosting some of the most exclusive bashes in the world. Daily life of a prince. What does a day in the life of this trillionaire prince actually look like? Well, for starters, it ain't your typical 9 to 5. Prince Moulay Hassan's got a jam-packed schedule that's a wild mix of royal duties and straight-up baller leisure activities. On the official side of things, the prince is often spotted repping the Moroccan royal fam at all kinds of high-profile events. I'm talking national shindigs, international summits, you name it, he's there. Like in 2017, when he was the youngest cat to roll up to the One Planet Summit in France, or in 2019, when he held it down for King Mohammed VI at the grand opening of that slick new port, Tanger Med 2. But it's not all handshakes and photo ops for this young royal. Prince Moulay Hassan is also knee-deep in the nitty-gritty of running a country. He's often caught rubbing elbows with government bigwigs, foreign hotshots, and ambassadors from all over the globe. And when he's not busy making power moves, he's out there hustling to keep Morocco's cultural game on point. But don't get it twisted. It ain't all work and no play for this prince. When he's not on that royal grind, Moulay Hassan knows how to live it up. He's been spotted soaking up the sun on family vacays in bougie spots like the Greek island of Skiathos. And you already know he's rolling up in style with that tricked-out private jet of his. Speaking of balling out, the prince is also a big player in the sports world. In 2019, he was the main man at the King Mohammed VI Grand Prix for cavalry, handing out trophies like he was Santa Claus. And when he's not busy being a VIP at sporting events, he's out there flexing his cultural clout by cutting ribbons at major exhibitions and museums. But even with all this official business on his plate, Prince Moulay Hassan still finds time to live that trillionaire lifestyle. I mean, what's the point of having all that cash if you ain't gonna spend it, right? When he's not jet-setting around the globe or making power moves, you can catch the prince indulging in some seriously bougie leisure activities. We're talking exotic vacations on private islands, yacht parties with A-list celebs, and weekend getaways to his lavish mountain retreat. And let's not forget about his love for the finer things in life. This kid's got a collection of rare whips and designer threads that would make even the biggest ballers jealous. But it ain't just about the material things for Prince Moulay Hassan. He's also got a rep for throwing some of the most exclusive parties in the world. We're talking soirees so lit, they make Gatsby's bashes look like a kid's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. From desert rages to rooftop raves, this prince knows how to turn up in style, entertainment and leisure. But when it comes to blowing stacks on entertainment, this prince is in a league of his own. I'm talking about spending more on a single night out than most people make in a year. Take his 18th birthday bash, for example. Moulay Hassan dropped a cool $10 million on a party that would make even the biggest Hollywood stars jealous. We're talking about flying in A-list performers from all over the world, renting out an entire island resort, and serving up enough champagne and caviar to feed a small country. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this prince's entertainment budget. He's been known to drop millions on private concerts from the hottest artists in the game. Rumor has it he once paid Beyoncé a whopping $5 million just to perform at one of his private parties. And let's not forget about his love for the high-stakes poker scene. The prince has been spotted at some of the most exclusive casinos in the world, rubbing elbows with billionaires and dropping stacks like it's nothing. But it's not just about the big-ticket items for Prince Moulay Hassan. He's also got a thing for the finer things in life when it comes to his downtime. We're talking about private movie screenings in his own personal theater, complete with a fully stocked bar and gourmet snacks. And when he wants to unwind, he's got his own private spa and massage therapists on call 24/7. But perhaps the most outrageous example of the prince's entertainment spending comes from his love of exotic animals. Moulay Hassan reportedly dropped a staggering $2 million on a rare white lion cub just because he thought it would be a cool pet to have around the palace. Comparative wealth. Just how rich is this kid, really? Let's break it down and see how Prince Moulay Hassan stacks up against some of the other high rollers out there. First off, let's talk numbers. With a family net worth estimated at a staggering $5.7 billion, the prince is sitting pretty at the top of the wealth pyramid. I mean, that's more than most folks could even dream of making in a lifetime. And get this, a big chunk of that change comes from his pops, King Mohammed VI, who's considered one of the richest monarchs in the world with a cool $2.6 billion to his name. But here's where it gets wild. Prince Moulay Hassan ain't just rich. He's quite possibly the richest teenager on the planet. No, really, this kid's got more money than most grown adults could ever hope to see. While other teens are busy flipping burgers or lifeguarding at the local pool, Moulay Hassan is out here casually dropping millions on private jets and exotic pets. But how does he measure up to other billionaire bigwigs? Well, let's just say the prince can hold his own. Take Bill Gates, for example. Sure, the Microsoft mogul may have a few more zeros in his bank account, but does he have his own private island and a fleet of yachts? We think not. And don't even get us started on Jeff Bezos. Yeah, the Amazon boss may be the richest dude in the world, but can he say he's been rubbing elbows with royalty since birth? Nah, didn't think so. Prince Moulay Hassan was born into the lap of luxury, and he's been living that high life ever since. But it's not just about the money for this prince. He's also got something that most billionaires can only dream of, a royal title. I mean, sure, being a tech giant or a business tycoon is cool and all, but being an actual prince, now that's some next-level clout right there. So while other billionaires may have more cash in the bank, Prince Moulay Hassan's got the whole package: wealth, status, and a lifestyle that most of us can only imagine. He may be young, but this kid is already making major moves in the world of the ultra-rich. And that got us thinking, just how did the prince come to be so filthy rich in the first place? It ain't like he won the lottery or stumbled upon a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Nah, there's got to be more to the story than that. History and rise to wealth. Where does all this dough even come from? I mean, it's not like the prince just woke up one day and found a few $1 billion under his mattress. Nah, there's got to be more to the story than that. So we did some digging, and it turns out the prince's pockets are so deep thanks to some seriously savvy investments made by his pops, King Mohammed VI. This guy's got a business mind like no other, and he's been putting in work to grow the family fortune for years. Let's start with Al Mada, the king's very own sovereign wealth fund. This thing is a straight-up money-making machine, investing in all the hottest industries to keep the cash flowing. And then there's the OCP group, where King Mohammed VI has been calling the shots and turning Morocco into a phosphate powerhouse. But the king's not just about that traditional business life. He's also got his eye on the future, investing big time in renewable energy projects like the Noor solar power station. This dude is literally turning sunlight into stacks and putting Morocco on the map as a leader in sustainable energy. And let's not forget about the tourism game. Under King Mohammed VI's watch, Morocco has become a top destination for travelers from all over the globe. We're talking fancy resorts, world-class attractions, and enough revenue to keep the royal family rolling in it for generations. So yeah, Prince Moulay Hassan may be young, but he's already sitting on a gold mine thanks to his dad's business prowess. But here's the thing, the prince isn't just along for the ride. He's been studying up and learning the ropes, getting ready to take the reins and keep the family fortune growing. From a young age, Moulay Hassan has been right by his father's side, soaking up knowledge and representing Morocco at big-time international events. He's got the education, the skills, and the street smarts to take the family wealth to new heights. So while other kids his age are still figuring out what they want to be when they grow up, Prince Moulay Hassan is already a boss in the making. With a killer combination of royal status and serious business acumen, this kid is poised to be a major player on the global stage. But of course, being a prince ain't all about the money. Moulay Hassan's life is steeped in centuries of tradition and customs that shape everything from his daily routine to his public persona. From the way he dresses to the way he carries himself, the prince is a walking embodiment of Moroccan royalty. Unique traditions and customs. Moulay Hassan's life is all about following tradition and representing that Moroccan culture. You feel me? Like, check it. As the Crown Prince of Morocco, my man Moulay Hassan is all about preserving and promoting his country's rich heritage. We're talking cultural festivals, visits to historical sites, the whole 9 yards. This kid's out here rocking traditional Moroccan fits like long kaftans and round skull caps, showing the world what it means to be a symbol of Moroccan culture. But it ain't just about looking fresh though. Prince Moulay Hassan's got a duty to maintain and promote Moroccan arts, crafts and folklore. It's part of the gig, you know. Like in 2017, he was out here welcoming Palestinian children to Morocco, introducing them to the culture and fostering those international vibes. And let's not forget about the prince's involvement in major events like the inauguration of the International Exhibition and Museum of the Biography of the Prophet and Islamic Civilization in Rabat. This dude's all about promoting that Islamic cultural heritage and showing the world what Morocco's got to offer. But here's the thing, being a prince in the modern world means balancing those traditional responsibilities with some global engagements. Like when Prince Moulay Hassan was rubbing elbows with international dignitaries at the One Planet Summit in France. This kid's been in the game since he was young, you know what I'm saying? And the people of Morocco, they love their prince. I mean, they're out here naming major public venues after him, like the Circuit International Automobile Moulay El Hassan in Marrakesh and Rabat's Stade Moulay Hassan. That's some serious influence right there. So yeah, Prince Moulay Hassan's life is a wild blend of tradition and modern living. From repping that Moroccan culture to making moves on the global stage, this kid's got it all figured out. But here's the real question, with all that wealth and influence, what's a prince to do? Well, turns out Moulay Hassan ain't just about spending that cash on himself. Nah, this kid's got a heart of gold and he's using his platform to make a real difference in the world. From philanthropy to public image, the prince is out here changing the game and showing the world what it really means to be royal. Philanthropy and public image. So you'll already know Prince Moulay Hassan is living that trillionaire lifestyle, but don't get it twisted. This kid's got more than just money on his mind. Nah, the prince is all about using his platform to make a real difference in the world, and he's been putting in work on the philanthropy front. Like, check it, Moulay Hassan's been involved in all kinds of charitable causes, from welcoming Palestinian children to Morocco and showing them the culture, to supporting educational institutions and environmental initiatives. This prince ain't just about flexing his wealth, he's about making a positive impact on the global stage. And let's be real, when you're rolling as deep as Prince Moulay Hassan, your every move is under the microscope. But this kid's been playing the game like a pro, balancing his lavish lifestyle with a dedication to public service that's earning him major respect both at home and abroad. I mean, sure, the prince is out here jetting around in his Gulfstream G650 and taking family vacations on luxury yachts, but he's also representing Morocco at high-profile international events and inaugurating cultural exhibitions like it's his job, which, let's be real, it kinda is. But here's the thing. Prince Moulay Hassan's commitment to philanthropy and cultural preservation ain't just about looking good for the cameras. This kid's got a genuine passion for using his influence to make a difference, and it shows in the way he carries himself. From his early participation in the One Planet Summit to his efforts to promote Moroccan arts and heritage, Prince Moulay Hassan is proving that he's more than just a wealthy royal. He's a leader with a vision for a better future, and the people of Morocco, they're all about it. I mean, you don't see major public venues being named after just any old prince, but Moulay Hassan's got stadiums and racetracks bearing his name like it's no big deal. Security and protection. When you're a trillionaire prince like Moulay Hassan, you can't just be rolling around without some serious security. I mean, this kid's got more assets than most countries, and you best believe there are some shady characters out there who'd love to get their hands on a piece of that royal pie. That's why Prince Moulay Hassan's got a security detail that's tighter than a drum. We're talking round-the-clock protection, state-of-the-art surveillance systems, and a team of highly trained bodyguards who ain't afraid to lay down the law if someone steps out of line. I mean, just look at his Gulfstream G650 jet. This thing's decked out with a $20 million Israeli J-Music missile defense system, cause when you're a prince, you gotta be ready for anything. And let's not forget about his royal residences. These places are locked down tighter than Fort Knox, with security measures that'd make even James Bond jealous. But it ain't just about protecting the prince himself. Nah, Moulay Hassan's security team is also responsible for keeping his vast wealth and assets safe from any would-be thieves or scammers. We're talking multi-layered security protocols, advanced encryption technologies, and a network of trusted advisors who keep a close eye on the prince's financial empire. Of course, all this security don't come cheap, but when you're worth trillions, you can afford to spare no expense when it comes to keeping yourself and your loved ones safe. And let's be real, the cost of not having top-notch security could be a whole lot higher than any price tag. But even with all these precautions in place, being a public figure like Prince Moulay Hassan means always being on your guard. I mean, this kid can't even step out for a quick bite without a team of bodyguards scoping out the joint first. And when he's attending high-profile events or traveling abroad, the security measures kick into overdrive, with specialized teams working around the clock to ensure the prince's safety. It's a high-stakes game, but it's all part of the Trillionaire prince lifestyle. And while some might see all this security as a burden, for Prince Moulay Hassan, it's just another day in the life of one of the world's wealthiest and most influential figures. Economic impact. You all already know Prince Moulay Hassan living large, but have you ever stopped to think about what kind of impact all that royal spending has on the local economy? I mean, we're talking billions of dollars being pumped into businesses and industries all across Morocco, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Take his Gulfstream G650 jet, for example. That thing cost a cool $67.4 million, and it's decked out with a $20 million Israeli missile defense system to boot. But it ain't just about the price tag. Every time the prince takes his jet out for a spin, he's supporting high-value jobs in manufacturing, maintenance, and operation. And don't even get me started on the royal family's real estate game. With 12 palaces to their name, 4 of which are in regular use, the amount of money being spent on staff, security, and upkeep is straight up staggering. We're talking construction crews, landscapers, hospitality workers, you name it, the royal family's employing them. But Prince Moulay Hassan's economic impact goes way beyond just his personal spending. His dad, King Mohammed VI, is heavily involved in some major players in the Moroccan economy, like the sovereign wealth fund Al Mada and the OCP Group, which is a global leader in phosphate production. These enterprises are creating jobs left and right, and the king's investments are helping to stimulate growth across a whole range of industries. And let's not forget about the tourism sector. The royal family's been working hard to promote Morocco as a top-tier destination, and it's paying off big time. Millions of international visitors are flocking to the country every year, and that means major cash flow for hotels, restaurants, and local artisans. But Prince Moulay Hassan's influence extends beyond Morocco's borders too. Every time he shows up at a high-profile international event or inaugurates a new cultural exhibition, he's helping to attract foreign investment and foster economic partnerships that could have a huge impact on the country's future.